Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Pedal Shift Project. The Pedal Shift Project is a series of conversations, thoughts, and experiments on bicycle travel adventures. From tips and tricks to ideas on how to ride your ride, let's shrink the world by bike. Show notes and more are available at pedalshift.net, and you can email the show at pedalshift@pedalshift.net or text me at 202-930-1109, and check Pedal Shift out on all the socials as well. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 417th edition of the Pedal Shift Project. My name's Tim Mooney. Thanks so much for joining. On this edition, the final part 6 of the mysterious Oregon Coast adventure. A leisurely morning at South Beach State Park sets the stage for what should be the triumphant finale, but James's bike has one last surprise in store. Sometimes a cursed bike adventure is the best kind, but with tire splits threatening the final miles and Eugene's punishing heat waiting ahead, will we actually make it to the finish line or just become stranded once and for all out on the Oregon coast? Good morning from South Beach State Park and the repainting of parking stripes in the distance. James and I are all packed up. We are continuing our book club where I am dunking on the author, but that's neither here nor there. The ride for today is short. We are only going to Yachats. We'll be going through Waldport. We'll probably make a stop or two, like a little caffeine stop, although I hardly need any caffeine right now. We had a leisurely morning because it's such a short day, and South Beach State Park is such a great place. It really was enjoyable. I will say, I got a downgrade South Beach State Park. Used to have a pedal shift sticker. It no longer does because they removed most of the charging lockers. There's only now 3 charging lockers, and they've replaced them with the new metal versions, but their metal versions don't have any charging stations in them. So there's been a distinct downgrade here for the charging setup here. And if you've got a few people like we did last night in camp that took up all the chargers, you don't get to charge. So not the best. James and I are also trying to figure out why anybody would want to be on a platform. They have lots of platforms here. If you let me know, I still can't quite figure that out. It's like that decking material, that composite decking material. It's nice. It's certainly flat. You're guaranteed flat. So maybe that's the argument right there. Cloudy. It was cooler last night maybe than any night we've had. The sun is peeking out though, so I think we're going to have some kind of mixed sun on the way back to Yachats or on the way down to Yachats. And yeah, then we've got hotel and some hanging out in Yachats action happening. So today should be a short and hopefully uneventful day. James, I'm betting, is going to just scream down the road because now with that tube in that tire, and James, it held overnight, I assume, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yep. There would be no reason for it not to unless the tube somehow was damaged, which frankly would be the luck of this trip for this bike. No, seriously. But in any event, yeah, we are getting ready to have we have 2 more days of cycling ahead of us, and both reasonably short. Today, flat and easy. Tomorrow has a big climb. That's why we have been very relaxed about going into today. But I'm very caffed up. James needs some caffeine, both watered up, so we should be in good shape, and it's a nice cool day to get started here. With that, we will let you be, and we will get on the road and check in down as we get closer to Yachats. From Seal Rock, Oregon. Foggy, beautiful, classic Oregon coast day. We are not getting these as much anymore. This used to be the vibe. Got a seagull literally floating right by me in the air, riding the waves of the air currents. Very cool. Yeah, it used to be that you'd wake up in the morning and you'd want to wait for the fog to burn off just a little bit, but you'd have a largely cloudy day, and it'd be cool like it is right now, maybe in the upper 50s, low 60s, but it would be largely no sun whatsoever, and that's what really attracted James and I back in the day to this ride. And we just don't get these days anymore, but today is an exception. We're back to that classic day, and the sun's there. It's just behind a bunch of fog and clouds, so getting a bit of a tailwind today, not as robust as yesterday, but it's pushing us along. I took a break, and James is motoring up ahead. I was feeling I ate earlier, and I needed a little bit more food. I was feeling it. Decided to take a little bit of a break and slam down an energy drink and some potato chips. Yes, really healthy living here on the Oregon coast. But yeah, that's got me perked right up, so I'll be able to hop on the bike and keep going. About a third of the way there. I think we're maybe 5 or 6 miles from Waldport, which I assume is where James is going to end up stopping. And then we'll have another 6, 7 or so miles until we hit our destination of Yachats, Oregon, and the end of our riding for today. But yeah, just enjoying this, savoring this ride today, even though it is on the short side. Beautiful part of the coast. Really a fantastic day today, and then a fantastic day tomorrow going up and over Cape Perpetua. All right. The seagulls are letting me know that I'm in their spot, so I think I'm going to take off. Got a shot here that's likely the thumbnail for this episode. Always love that. And yeah, just enjoying the heck out of today. All right, we are wrapping things up for our time to Yachats. The hotel, James, A+, don't you think?
Yeah.
View, fog. Yeah. I think we've never been so happy not to have our ocean view because we love ourselves some fog. So that's pretty great. Ride was good, smooth, easy, largely, it was rolling. I wouldn't call it flat. I think we'd call it flat, but I would say it was nice and rolling. Good speed. Both of us got in our third chain ring for a bit, which was fun. And bikes, your tire has behaved. Yeah. So I think that we're in good shape. You've done half of what you need to ride. Well, there's a little bit in Eugene that you have to ride too, but
yeah, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, I think
until I can get it replaced.
I think we're good based on what went down in Newport. So shout out to Newport Bikes, or I'm sorry, Bike Newport for lending a hand on that. Delicious dinner. James actually had fish.
Yeah, good fish and chips.
Yeah.
Good beers.
For those of you who don't like fish, go where fish is fresh and try something that's not fishy, because it won't taste fishy. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, okay, so that's the wrap-up of this part. Very chill day. We've really enjoyed Yachats. Both of us, we're checking out, hey, how many people live here? Turns out 800. Oh, I should be doing this all for the statistics section, but yeah, there's rentals, there's places you can buy that are obscenely expensive and not. It's a really interesting mix of low-key blue-collar vibes all the way up to the bougiest of bougiest, and you can pick your poison in there, which is cool. For a small coastal town, Yachats punches above its weight. That's what I would say. All right, so that's it for the end of this part. We got one more day of riding and one more day of kind of pseudo-adventuring to go here. And yeah, we're bringing you along for the ride, as usual. Good morning from Yachats, Oregon. It is the beginning of our last full day of riding. We are going to be going from here in Yachats to Florence, Oregon, a real transition. Here, we're in southern Lincoln County. We're going to be going into Lane County, up and over Cape Perpetua. This is arguably one of the more challenging parts of the Oregon coast. It is certainly one of the most picturesque. We've got a little bit of fog this morning, not as much as there was yesterday, so that's actually favorable for our ride. We're loading up. We're trying to get our visible clothing to be as visible as possible because there's certain portions of the next 25 miles that are narrow shoulders and could be fogged in, so we're going to be as safe as we can. We hit the market last night. We got food, a lot of good high-calorie food for us to tackle these climbs that we've got. It's like almost like a triple climb in a way. It's a little bit of an up and a little down, another little up and a little down, and then one big long one over Cape Perpetua. That includes yet another tunnel that, if memory serves, there may be an old pedal shift sticker at. So we'll be checking that out. James, any thoughts this morning?
No, I'm looking forward to the ride. The weather looks good. It's nice and cool. Yeah, should be good.
Yeah, I think we're both pretty excited about this one, even though there's some work to do, much more than yesterday. And I think that we're just trying to be as prepared as possible. And we're getting out a little bit earlier than we did yesterday. I think yesterday we didn't get rolling until, what was it, 11?
Yeah, it was 11 when we left.
Yeah, so this morning we're trying to get out of here about 9 and hoping that this 25-mile ride takes somewhere in the, 3.5 hours, give or take. It could take, with the big climbs, there's no way we're going to be doing 10 miles per hour up good chunks of this. But then, of course, we got a big, long descent, which we'll be doing substantially faster. So it might even out. But yeah, certainly early afternoon, and we'll be in and done, which is good. And probably ready for whatever Florence, Oregon has for us on this particular occasion. We're doing another hotel night nearby where our bus picks us up for Eugene tomorrow at the Three Rivers Casino. The casino hotels were all booked, but we got a hotel that's reasonably close by. It's a less than 10-minute ride tomorrow morning. But first, we got to get there. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Yachats, we like. Yachats. Yachats is a 44-star town, I think. From the other side of Cape Perpetua, on the way up to, I think it's the Cape Arch Tunnel. Very strong riding so far. Seem to be on the other side of a big marine layer, although I do see a little bit of fog up ahead, so might be going through some fog as we go up and over this next bigger ascent that is part of this day. I decided to take a break where there was a bit of a wider shoulder. This portion of the ride, as I mentioned, I think on an earlier segment, has some extremely narrow shoulders, but they're on slower portions of the road because it's very curvy. This is described in the book as the windiest part of the Oregon coast. I might also say it as the windiest, so that we can have a little, is that a homonym? No, homonym is when they rhyme. I don't know what it is. It's same spelling, different words. It's windiest and windiest, I would say. But very fun. This is a great way to close out the true biking portion of this trip, and I'm really enjoying it so far. We really loaded up on food and water and caffeine for this 25-mile jaunt just to make sure that we could power right over it. And James is well ahead of me, and we decided that we were just going to meet at there's a market on the very, very northern outskirts of Florence that both of us typically will stop at. So he'll get there first, I'm sure, and we'll kick back and wait for me. And I'm usually only 5-10 minutes behind. A lot just depends on how many breaks each of us take. Sometimes I'll catch up with him. Just depends. But his tire, one thing we didn't mention, his tire is starting to show even more of a split. So we're very grateful that we're at the end of the ride, and the guy at Bike Newport was correct that we shouldn't be riding on it too much. But in retrospect, we both realized we should have put a boot on it when the tube went in. But, it's of course far too late for that. James does have the ability to do it, but like on the side of the road, that's a half-hour job. So if I come up upon him in a little bit here and I see him down on the asphalt, I'll know exactly what happened as he's working on a tire. It won't be a flat. It'll be that tire split. So we'll hopefully that won't be happening. Hopefully neither of us are speaking that into existence. All right, a little bit of a tailwind, very sunny today, but a lot of shade because of the nature of the topography here. So just glorious. What a great day. Just been a wonderful week of riding. And even with all of the mysterious things that have happened to James's bike and all of the delays and us shortening our mileage and all that, this has just been wonderful and really fun. So I'm going to enjoy the last 20 or so miles of it. Actually, I can tell you exactly how many more miles if my app will come up. I'm using it with GPS, of course. I got about 20 more miles to go until the hotel, but quite a bit less for the place where we're going to be meeting. From the windy side of Cape Creek Tunnel, got through it no problem. It's much shorter than the Arch Cape Tunnel. I think I mistakenly called it the Arch Cape, but it's the Cape Creek Tunnel. But I got a bit more of a climb to the Sea Lion Caves and then a big old downhill. Did an energy drink earlier, and that was great. And now stopping for a little bit of a view here. It's just gorgeous today, foggy, and it's awesome. It's that perfect mix of fog and sun, so you get that nice mix. I got the hood up just because on the other side of it there's a big sunny area, and that's a lot of sun to take in. But should be coming back to the Sea Lion Cave soon, and then the big downhill. So more to come. From Florence, Oregon, and the beginning of the end of our trip here. James's tire has split a little bit more, and his tube is starting to poke out a little bit. So we are in a not great situation with that, but literally between where we're at and where we need to go is literally a matter of miles. Even hoofing it is certainly a possibility. We are at the very closed, is it called Bicycles 101? This is a shop that has come and gone. It was a Trek dealer, but it is super closed and not in existence anymore. Nothing in there. We're hoping to be able to get a boot on this tire, but they're not here, and there's no other bike shops in town. James is now doing a little bit of work on calling around into shops in Eugene to replace this tire. That's outside the scope of the ride, or at least the podcast version of the ride, but in any event, that's where we're at. We've got a hotel here, and of course the bus tomorrow, and a hotel in Eugene. So there's more to the adventure, less about the riding at this point. But we were just remarking what great weather we had. We missed out on the tailwinds today. Those are coming this afternoon, but we really didn't need them. We both rode really quite strong to get to this point. It's just a fun ride. One of the nicer parts of the coast between Yachats and Florence is really quite stunning and beautiful. And nothing but good things to say about that. And the central part of the coast, I think, is just stunning. The southern part of the coast, you got to go a little bit further south of here before that really kicks in. From about Florence to, I'd say Port Orford, maybe a little bit north of that. It's fine. It's comparing a beautiful gemstone to another beautiful gemstone, but it's not as nice as some of the stuff that is south of there. Just stunning views, and it's unfortunate I won't be able to get them on this trip, but that was just the straws we drew. And James and I, I'm sure we'll talk more about the trip in another segment here in a moment for you, a little bit down the road for us. But yeah, to be at the end of the road for the major cycling, it's a little bittersweet because it was a fun ride despite the many challenges, the mysterious challenges that we encountered. It's funny how when you title a podcast, you don't realize that it's going to have an alternate meaning down the line. But here we are. From the Travelodge Hotel in beautiful Florence, Oregon, it is the end of our final cycling day. You'll hear in the background a fan that is running on full blast. This is a hotel with no air conditioning. It's not necessary because it is cool here, but we are so enamored by said fan that I actually purchased the exact same brand to be delivered to my cabin, waiting for me when I get there because I anticipate the hot. And it is so delightful at pushing air that I decided I needed to rethink my entire bedroom situation at my cabin. So there you go. There's a bit of insight on what lessons learned in bike tour. I like this fan and I like what it does. We have got ourselves set up for tomorrow, where we are going to be going to Eugene, as mentioned previously. We're feeling pretty good about it. We discussed a little bit about maybe leaving a touch earlier just in case because of James's tire and the possibility that with 15 minutes until our bus departs, we are a 2-minute bike ride or a 15-minute hoof away. So we're going to leave just a touch earlier. I also recognized after getting a ton of food for tonight at Safeway and breakfast for tomorrow that I did not get any Dramamine. So I'm going to try to locate that in the morning. But other than that, we have been just very happy with things. A tremendous amount of food has been procured. It is delightful. Dinner will be glorious, and we're ready to call it a night soon afterwards. James, any final thoughts on this phase of the adventure?
Nope. So far, so good. But there's still an opportunity for something to go sideways.
1,000%.
Yeah. We'll see.
All right. As we like to say, see you in the morning. Good morning. That was a good one, wasn't it? Yeah. That was for Florence, Oregon. We are packing up, getting ready here for our final phase. It is 8:30 a.m. I think we're intending to get out of here within the next 15 minutes or so, maybe less. I think we're both a little bit further along than I anticipated at this point. It's nice and chilly outside. Florence, Oregon, hello. We love being close by the Pacific Ocean. However, we are, even with the fan, as you can hear, our friend from last episode last night, when I don't know how these episodes are going to go, but we're going to be going into the hot. Eugene, Oregon is forecast to be, I think, 89 or 90 degrees today. That's no fun. Need to do a quick pit stop at a Circle K, if memory serves, just to get a little bit of aid for me, the car sick kid, to avoid that. We ate probably too much food, or at least I ate too much food this morning. So that will be a good thing to get. And then, we are not much else to add, really. Nothing really has changed since last night. The plan is bus. Then we've got a short ride to the hotel, but we'll be there assuming we get on the bus. Actually, it's probably worth noting. The bus appears to have the sport racks, which would accommodate James's width of tire. You just never know with these types of things. So we don't know if we're going to need to deflate tires or anything along these lines. That's actually an open question mark at this point. And we also don't know if James's tire is going to make it at this point. Although I'm feeling pretty confident that if it did 50 miles, it can do one more mile at least. And then it would be on the Eugene side, it's another mile from there. So really there's only about 2 miles worth of cycling that has to be done on this tire. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Trying to think if there's anything else. Plenty of things can go wrong between now and then, but I think we're going to leave ourselves enough buffer time to accommodate for that. But yeah, Travelodge in beautiful Florence, Oregon. I almost did the same thing you did. I almost forgot the name of the town, James. James has had problems with Florence. Are we in Newport? No, we're not. We're in Florence. Oh, okay. In my defense, my caffeine has barely kicked in here. All right, we are going to finish packing up and get out of here and go get some medication for me, and then off to the races, off to the Three Rivers Casino where we are to be picked up, and hoping that the first bus on a Sunday morning has 2 bike slots for us, or otherwise can accommodate all of our gear if there is more than one bike there, etc., etc. I'm rambling. End of segment. From Eugene, Oregon. At 1:15 p.m., James and I have ridden a total of 2 miles, not consecutive. 1 mile to get to the casino. The bus went to a brewery, had filled up with brisket and low alcohol beers, and we rode a whole mile in 89-degree heat to the hotel here. Got an early check-in, and we're both lying down like we just did Cape Perpetua. I guess it's saying it's kind of time for the end of the tour and all of that. But yeah, we had a good time. What was the name of the brewery, James? Do you remember? Cold Fire in Eugene, Oregon, like really close to the river. And then it is hot, and I don't think either of us want to bike in it at all. But there's a nice breeze. It's actually not terrible for kind of the short jaunts that we've done, unlike Beaverton, which I think downright ended us earlier, I guess almost a week ago. I don't know. It feels like we're in final thoughts territory here. So we had a fun trip. James has nothing to say. James is fried, and that's fine. I think we realized that the mysteriousness of this tour was not because of James. It was the bike that I'm staring at right now and its mysterious desire to throw curveballs at us from quite literally the beginning. Like, we're fortunate because that crank could have fallen off anywhere between Astoria and Cannon Beach. And then we would have been in a truly effed position. It would have been difficult. We would have been having to call in some help, the thing. But the fact that it happened in Cannon Beach, and Cannon Beach had in town a campground with a hiker-biker, which we got to know very well over the days. We were very fortunate with that. And then, of course, the tire, and I stand by the fact that it was probably a manufacturing defect, but we'll never know. But yeah, it limped us to here with a tubeless system. We had to go to the tube, and even then it almost gave up the ghost, but it gave us the 52 miles I think we needed, give or take. So that's great. And yeah, the mysteriousness of the tour was all about the mysterious, I don't know, curveballs that this bike threw, and we overcame them, had a great time, did some fun things, had good food, good times, good conversations. It was everything I needed for a trip like this. Did we make the miles? Hell no. No, we did about half of the miles, give or take. Maybe a little bit more. But yeah, and we just had to, both of us, change kind of the tune on what our intentions were and how we were going to get back home and when we were going to get back home. But I had a great time. Okay, James, I've talked a lot. Maybe you have something to say to tell our fine listeners about what you think of this tour.
Yeah, like you never know what you're going to get, and it helps to be flexible. And yeah, I concur with everything you said. This wasn't what was planned, but all of our plans always have an asterisk by them, and we remained flexible, and we had a good time throughout. So yeah, another success.
Absolutely. And one other thing that I think was really important that I got, and a lot of this will come in takeaways next week for you, the Florence Eugene bus was great.
Yep.
$5, you cannot be. I'm used to paying $17 or $20, I can't remember, from Portland to Tillamook, going, oh wow, what a deal. But holy crap, $5. And their rack had the proper width for James's tire. So even a nearly 3-inch wide fat bike, so long as it was 29er or less, like I don't think you could do a bigger, I'm not even sure if they make bigger tires than 29ers. Because isn't that a 29-inch that you got?
Yeah, it's a 29 plus, but yeah, it's a 29.
Yeah, so it worked.
2.8.
It took some deflation of that tire, but it did work. It did get in there. Yeah, so that's a really helpful thing to know about getting to the coast, getting off the coast. Eugene has an Amtrak and an airport. The bus takes you right to the Amtrak station. There are a whole host of ways to get off and on the Oregon coast for really inexpensive, and that's a real eye-opener for me, because sometimes I've busted tail or taken long bus rides to get to the end of the Oregon coast, and then getting out to Medford, which takes some doing. Boy, it's a lot easier to get to Eugene. So yeah, that makes me thinking more about future rides as well. So yeah, much more to come in the takeaways episode, because I think we got a lot of takeaways from this, mostly about being prepared and being flexible, because once again, if the only thing we cared about was getting to Brookings, Oregon by a certain date, we would have been really disappointed.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had a good time if we were just hell-bent on hitting a certain spot on a certain date.
Yeah, and that says a lot about the Oregon coast. Like, we were fine. Like, we were doing pretty low mileage days a couple of the days here, but we were seeing some great stuff, tackling some pretty tricky terrain, especially this last day yesterday. And it was fine. It was fun. I think that was the big thing, is that this was maybe analogous to that C&O but slow attempt that I did, where I was going to be doing lower mileage days and focusing in on fun. I think that's what we ended up hitting here on the Mysterious Tour. Thank you, bike, for braking all the time and forcing us to slow down and enjoy ourselves and take the full 10 days and really do our thing. And we still have an afternoon and an evening here in Eugene, but I have a god-awful early wake-up, so I don't think it's going to be out. We aren't going clubbing. We aren't going eats or anything like that, but I think we're going to have a good time enjoying the AC for a little bit in here. All right, any final thoughts? None from James. He is spent. He is done. I don't blame him. I got nothing else either. I'm just really glad, as always, to bring you all along. I have no idea, just standing here right now. I thought this was going to be 8 episodes now, how many episodes this was and how I divided this. But yeah, who knows? There might be enough to do it day by day, or it might not even be close. And so some days may merge, some parts may merge, but hey, that's the story of this adventure. And I feel like there were a lot of sub-stories within it. So I'm glad that I was able to bring it along, record. And thank you, James, for joining. As always, delight to ride with you. That's it. All right, everybody, turn this off. Go home. Statistics. Miles biked day 1, 25. Miles biked day 2, 25. It worked out that way. Total tour mileage, about 52% less than the original plan. Florence to Eugene bus cost, $5. That is a bargain. Eugene temperature, 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Flats, 0. Thank you for joining. You can find Pedal Shift at pedalshift.net for more great bicycle touring content. You can hear the Pedal Shift project through Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Opening music courtesy of Jason Kent off his self-titled album. The track is called America. Check out his band Sunfield's latest release, Mono Mono, wherever cool music is available.